I am really happy to welcome everybody. I'm Marge Greenfield. I have the title of Career Advancement and Development Officer at UH. I've met many of you, and I'm very happy to be here celebrating with everybody today. I'd like to start us off with a welcome from Dr. McGurian, a man who needs no introductions.
Thank you, Dr. Greenfield. I am honored to be here tonight. Margie and I were talking earlier about a day, I think it was 2015, when she came in my office when I was president of the faculty and the position now that Dr. Sasser holds, and said, you know, our faculty are not doing as well as they can possibly be doing as it relates to promotions through the medical school. And I would like to take this on as a project in my capacity as someone who served on the CAPT and actually chair of the CAPT at the medical school, and be a conduit to really help our faculty move through the promotion process with less friction. And if you looked at the numbers, which we're not going to go through today, since she's done this heroic work, we are now promoting with our partner, Case Western Reserve School of Medicine, more and more faculty who are immensely deserving of this. So I don't think we can start this evening without a significant thanks and congratulations to Dr. Greenfield. So tonight is a great illustration of our mission in action: to heal, to teach, and discover. And for each of these, you've demonstrated to heal, significant commitment to healing in the work that you all do. And there's a myriad of specialties here. To teach, you've shown a significant dedication to scholarship, which is not only for our residents, but also our dear medical students from our principal partner at Case Western Reserve School of Medicine. And to discover. 63 of you are now teaching, if you will, our next generation of caregivers. You've published accelerators in advancing science and teaching. There's a record number. This is a record number of promotions demonstrating the caliber of our team. Because remember, the promotion is an objective measure, whether it's completely accurate or not, for a third party, which would be the medical school, to determine the trajectory of one's academic career. So it's a reasonable benchmark. And today we have achieved a record number of promotions demonstrating the caliber of the faculty that exist here. 8 of you were hired in a higher rank than you were at the prior institution before you arrived. And make no mistake, I sat on the CAPT at the medical school for some time. This is a tough medical school. It's a tough medical school. They expect a lot, and the faculty have delivered. Through promotion, you serve as role models for your peers. You incentivize those who are looking up to you to work even harder every day. These promotions reflect the strength of our collaboration with Case Western Reserve, a relationship that dates back to the late 1800s. And recently, we had a wonderful event with Dean Gerson to celebrate 2 university-endowed professorships for Dr. Sabik and Dr. Salata, which I think furthers the solidifying positive relationship between the school and the hospital. Together, you've pioneered novel ideas, trailblazed new approach, devices, leading-edge treatments, which now we're seeing in the papers and the news every single day about university hospitals. Many of our predecessors, as well as some of you in this room, have set the standard for care in your fields. Being the history buff I am, for those who don't know me, did you know that 90 years ago, one of our doctors performed the first successful removal of a heart tumor? Does anyone know who that is? Oh, come on. Claude Beck. Actually, it's pictured if you walk through the Lakeside Museum area, you'll see Claude Beck, and he also figured out rhythms, and he's amazing. 70 years ago, we pioneered pressure-regulated one-way valves for the treatment of hydrocephalus, and established one of the first clinics of these kids in the UH. Does anyone know the surgeon and neurologist who worked on that? Nelson and Foley. Great. Thank you, Dr. Bamkis. Later tonight, thank you. He invented the term asteristics. I didn't know that. Asterixis was Dr. Foley, the notion of tremors with hepatic encephalopathy. Later tonight, we'll hear from Dr. Guilherme Adesanya, the Director of Valve and Structural Heart Disease at the UH Harrington Heart and Vascular Institute, to talk about his promotion and what it means to him, and also Dr. Tiffany Hodges, a UH neurosurgeon, who are some of the pioneers. These are two of the pioneers at UH as it relates to heart and brain. The fact remains our collaboration, I think, with Case Western has played a huge role in advancing medicine. It helps us recruit and retain the best. I also want to thank for this night, in addition to Dr. Greenfield, Dr. Dan Simon, who, along with E. Fritz, Nicole Bollinger, and Abby Zona, as well as the entire UH promotion committee members, have gone above and beyond their way to make sure that we can ensure the best culture for academic promotion in this organization. Last year, just as an update on things, you heard me talk at this meeting about the economic tsunami that all hospitals are facing. And while I would say that it has been a giant wave, by virtue of these numbers, you could see our commitment to academic and academic advancement has not in any way faltered. In fact, it's increased despite these pressures, which I think is a true test of the spirit of the organization's ultimate mission. These industry dynamics, as it relates to what's happening around the nation, and we're not alone, have resulted in acceleration of UH's overall strategic plan, and that's included a all-hands-on-deck implementation of our new electronic medical record that we believe will further deliver assets to our clinicians who work very hard with our old cumbersome system. So this underscores the remarkable accomplishments of the 63 in this class even more. So despite all the issues that you're dealing with as it relates to the clinical pressures, COVID, as it relates to the financial issues, and many of you who have leadership positions have been asked to figure out how to be more efficient, on top of the fact that we're dealing with one hand tied behind our back with an EMR that we felt when I came into this role that we have to change, you've still been able to advance your careers and therefore make us better through your successes. So I want to thank you for that. I also want to praise your family and your friends. And I see many family and I hear many children, which is the most wonderful sound in the world to hear here today, because ultimately these advancements is ultimately the true, I think, teamwork of the families that you have. And it takes a very strong support system for any one of us to be able to be successful in this academic world. And clearly you've all did that, and you have wonderful families, and I want to thank those families for supporting you in this mission. I also want to thank the department chairs. Being a chair myself, I've been absolutely blown away how the person who took over from me, Dr. Nicole Maronian, has been wildly more successful than me in promoting her faculty. I think last year she had 9. But all your department chairs have been integral into this, ultimately working with Dr. Greenfield. And to all of our faculty here tonight, there are 4 key themes I think that all of you, I'd love you to remember, that help differentiate UH, which has led to our growth, which has led to many of the accolades that we've received. We're not perfect. We've got a lot of issues that we have to deal with, as everyone does. We will attend to them. But clearly, I hope you'd agree that there are 4 major differentiators that exemplify UH, and by virtue of who you are now as leaders and have been, it is really incumbent upon you to continue to do this. It is, number 1, it's the notion of kindness and compassion that we exhibit to our patients. It isn't just a feeling, it's a way of doing business, and inspires all of us to make sure that we are embarking the notion of compassion to our patients. It then drives our scientific advancement, because if we really are compassionate, we're thinking about better ways of doing things for our patients, and it drives our scientific progress. And under our scientific leadership, including Dr. Simon, we've continued to grow with both external funding. We're now the leader in Ohio as it relates to clinical trials, and we are inventing and discovering things left and right. And it's because I think that we have compassion. When you have scientific advancement and a perception of scientific advancement that gives hope to a patient. We're now doing more CAR T cells than everybody. We figured out how to make CAR T cells in 24 hours. And most of the country still, it's months working with Novartis. These are the kind of things that I think are driven by kindness and compassion. These pioneering breakthroughs have been our mantra for nearly 160 years. And I really want to thank all of you for that, because it's the next generation. We also believe everyone that we take care of deserves high value care, meaning that we work every day to figure out how to minimize friction and how to get our patients seen faster. That minimizes fear and suffering as they wait. And we figure out, by virtue of the total cost of care, how to eliminate defects, pioneering work by Dr. Pronovost. And we now know that by making the care safer, both inpatient and outpatient, that the complications that could happen to a patient go down. And what happens then is the cost of care is lowered. And that helps Medicare, Medicaid, everyone who pays the bill, and certainly employers who really depend upon us. And then finally, I think I'd hope you to remember, and I know you feel this, that we are Northeast Ohio's hometown team. Everything we do, every nickel and penny that is given in philanthropy, every discovery that we make, every advancement we make in making care safer is delivered for the people of this community, not for other states, countries, continents. It's for people here. And why is that important? It's important because those who want to help us because they feel that we are completely committed to this environment. So lastly, as it has once been said, a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. And so as you advance to senior positions at associate and full professor, people will be looking at you, modeling their behavior even without asking you. So that is, with great privilege comes great responsibility. And so I ask all of you to remember that and be the guiding light to people who are looking up to you and will look up to you. On behalf of the UH management team and the nearly 1.7 million patients who now come to UH somewhere every given year and would trust UH with their care, I thank you for your commitment in helping us understand how to constantly be ever better as it relates to healing, teaching, and discovering. And at this time, I'd like to welcome my good friend and our dean, Dr. Stan Gerson.
I'm going to advance the slides. If you want to clap again for Cliff, you can. It's okay. But here's me. Okay. So first of all, I'm really delighted to be here, represent the school for the accomplishments of our promoted faculty and the efforts that you've made. And I absolutely share Cliff's perspective on the remarkable qualities and efforts it takes to reach the bar, which is actually pretty high, of scholarship and both regional and national reputation for what you all do in a whole variety of different ways. Since becoming dean, I've looked hard at the methodologies we use for promotion. We want to make it a little more streamlined. We want to make sure that it embraces all the things that you do, including competency and referral patterns. There are many of you that are national leaders in your clinical subspecialty and have a referral pattern that reflects that, and recognition by physicians across the country that reflects that. And I want to help make sure that we offer that as a pathway for promotion and even for tenure. I met yesterday with the chairs of the departments at UH to talk about the tenure pathway that we want to continue for a number of you who seek that designation. I'll remind you that the Faculty of Medicine, and we're in the process of rebranding this effort, is now almost 3,400 full-time faculty across our 5 sites, 4 hospitals and the school itself. It's a pretty large faculty, I think you'd agree, and it's a complex group. Each of the flavors and supports and efforts and interests of our faculty are different at each of the hospital institutions. The passion for scholarship here is tremendous, is long-standing, and I'm sure will continue. When I discussed the process of promotion and tenure with Cliff and talked to him about how we were going to modify the approach, he gave me one piece of advice, which was, don't you dare dilute it. It means a lot to us, and it better have the same standard or higher. So if it seems a high bar, take advantage of complimenting Cliff on his foresight for doing that. Now, our faculty of the hospital have contributed up the ladder, if you will, remarkably. This is a list of UH physicians who have become deans here and across the country. Very few hospitals have the depth of this list and have had the national impact that deans have had over the past 40 or so years during my career here. And it's an impressive set of individuals. And not that I want any or all of you to become deans, but it reflects the incredible approach to scholarship and academics that this institution has had and has brought forward. And as I said, and we can chat with Cliff and Dan later, I don't think many hospitals have this depth of a list of tenure folks. Maybe Hopkins does, but not many. So with that, sometimes you just can't outwit, you know? Yeah, I got it. Okay, so I'm not going to go further into comments because we have both an agenda this evening, and I'm actually, as if not more interested, of hearing from our accomplished faculty this evening. I'm going to turn it back to Marjorie, and we'll hear from them. Thank you.
So we have two faculty speakers tonight. The first is Dr. Tiffany Hodges, Associate Professor of Neurologic Surgery at Case Western Reserve University School of Medicine and Surgical Director of the Brain Tumor Neuro-Oncology Center at UH Cleveland Medical Center, where she subspecializes in neurosurgical oncology. Dr. Hodges' research interests are brain tumor clinical trial development, brain tumor epidemiology, and clinical outcomes after treatment. She currently serves on the executive committee of the Congress of Neurologic Surgeons and is an active member of the Society of Neuro-Oncology and the American Association of Neurologic Surgeons. I'm very happy to welcome Dr. Tiffany Hodges.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues, and distinguished guests, it is with tremendous gratitude and honor that I stand here today accepting this promotion from assistant to associate professor at UH and Case Western. Being recognized amongst my peers at such a prestigious and important institution is truly a humbling experience. I wanted to talk a little bit about my journey. My journey to this position has been unique and deeply rewarding. I began my career in neuroscience as a 12-year-old at a math and science magnet school where Albert Einstein was our mascot, and I began to read tons of books on neuroscience. It was at that point that I told my parents that I wanted to become a neuroscientist and then eventually a neurosurgeon. My parents did not scoff or dissuade me, but supported and encouraged my decision. As a little girl from Georgia, that made all the difference. Eventually, I pursued a neuroscience and behavioral biology degree at Emory University, where my passion for neurosurgery first ignited. Through hard work, research, and commitment, I then completed my medical degree and neurosurgical residency at Duke, where I became a member of AOA and a Dean Scholar. It was during my neurosurgical oncology fellowship at MD Anderson Cancer Center, where my research on brain tumor treatment and clinical trial development took place. I'm grateful for the opportunities I've had to contribute to advancements in brain tumor clinical trial development, brain tumor epidemiology, and clinical outcomes after treatment, and the support I've found within the neurosurgical community has been invaluable to me throughout my career. I would like to take a moment to thank the leadership and faculty at UH and Case Western for their unwavering support and guidance. It has been here that I've been able to serve as an educator, a neurosurgeon, organizer, mentor, team player, leader, and a human being who walks one foot in front of the other every day when I enter the hospital doors. It is through the amazing mentorship here that I've been able to pursue my passion for neurosurgery and neuro-oncology and make a difference in the lives of our patients. Being promoted today represents an exciting new chapter in our academic careers. It offers the opportunity to build on our past experience and further contribute to our respective fields, while continuing to serve the patients who depend on us. I look forward to forging new collaborations, nurturing future generations of physicians, and advancing our understanding of brain tumors. Finally, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to my husband, Seth, who couldn't make it today, my family members, and friends for their endless support and encouragement throughout my journey. Without them, I would not be standing here today. It is truly an honor to be a part of UH and Case Western Reserve community, and I am excited to continue serving in this role. Thank you, Marjorie Greenfield, Stan Gerson, Cliff McGarrion, Dan Simon, and the promotion committee for your continued leadership. I'm eager to work together with my colleagues to advance medicine and provide the best possible care for our patients. Thank you.
Oh. I now have the privilege of introducing Dr. Guilherme Adesanya. Dr. Adesanya is professor of medicine at Case Western Reserve University and a nationally and internationally recognized interventional cardiologist and heart valve specialist. He serves as co-director of the UH Harrington Heart and Vascular Institute Valve and Structural Heart Disease Center and holds the Alexander and Mariana McAfee Chair in Innovative Cardiac Interventions. Dr. Adesanya's area of expertise include aortic valve stenosis, mitral regurgitation, transcatheter aortic valve replacement, and transcatheter mitral valve repair and replacement. He has become one of the world's leading experts in intravascular optical coherence tomography, OCT. His research has helped improve stent implantation techniques, enabled a better understanding of vascular healing after stent implantation, and revealed important features of unstable coronary plaques. Dr. Adesanya.
All right, so it's thank you very much for having me here. It's really an honor to be in front of all of this distinguished faculty, Dr. McGarrion, Dan, Professor Salata, and all of the other professors that are here. It's my honor really to be here. For me, this promotion as a full professor means a lot because I'm a foreign medical graduate. I didn't do my training in the United States, so that has a special flavor for me. I remember coming here 2009 to the United States to do research fellowship in intravascular imaging with the support of Dan and others. And today I'm here being promoted as a full professor of medicine here at UH after my training in Europe, coming back here. It's been really a phenomenal journey with the support of a lot of my mentors here. So I'm really grateful for that. Thank you. I did bring some slides I brought only 5 slides because I would like to show what that really means to me. And the first thing that it's extremely important for me, those 3 messages that you see there, the one on the left-hand side, I know it's hard to read mostly from the back, but that was sent to me from a colleague from India, where I went there to teach them how to implant heart valves. And this colleague of ours is a very experienced physician, and he sent a very grateful message to me. The other messages here are from our former fellows. And all of those 2 messages, basically the bottom line of those messages is that they sent that to me saying, well, I'm going to do a very complex case today, and I'm going to remember all of your teachings, and your words I'm going to hear you whisper in my ears, right? So this is very important for me as a professor, right? I feel that it makes me humble, makes me proud of these fellows that were our former fellows. They're very successful throughout the world, actually. And from a colleague also from India. And amongst there have been a lot of these messages that I received from my fellows that means a lot to me. I think that's one of the pieces that are very important for me as a professor. The other thing that is very important for me is the fact that university hospitals, our center, became a center of excellence in training healthcare providers for transcatheter aortic valve replacement, left aortic appendage closure. And today we have trained more than 800 healthcare providers from all over the world who come here to university hospitals to learn from us on how to implant these devices in optimal practices. We have done multiple live case transmissions for the most important congresses in the world, which also is, highlights the fact that we are a very important training center, helping to launch these technologies in many countries all over the United States. And as you can see there, in many countries all over the world. And this picture, I think, highlights, these are some of the few pictures that I have taken in sites that we've been to teaching physicians from all over the world. Obviously, the publications are very important. We have been, I think, pioneers in several things in the aortic valve replacement as well as mitral valve repair. And I would like to highlight, as Dr. Magarian very well pointed out, the fact that optimizing the resources for healthcare, so being able to deliver excellent care to our patients, pristine care, I should say, while optimizing resource utilization, it has been one very important piece of research that we have done, and we have published a lot of studies on that. And finally, I think what is also very important, because teaching is important, providing excellent care is important, but while doing that, we're able to grow our center tremendously and providing this care and delivering this excellent care to the patients from Northeast Ohio. And I'm proud to see that also, the growth, the tremendous growth of our center. So teaching people from all over the world, teaching our fellows while still providing excellent care. So I'm very proud to be here today. I'm very proud and thankful to my mentors, Dr. Salata, Dan, Dr. Magarian, Dr. Rajagopalan, Mary Shishibor. So thank you very much. I'm really honored, and to me, it's really a dream come true. As a foreign medical graduate from Brazil, I never thought I would be here today, but I am, and I'm very proud and very thankful for everybody. Thank you.
So I just want to show you guys the numbers. So this is the numbers of promotion starting in 2018 when we started counting at UH. So in 2018, we had 30 promotions. You can see that it was between 30 and 38 for 4 years, and then we kind of had a jump. I think the jump is really attributable to a lot of the work that the departments have done, the chairs have done, and I've also been very appreciative of my opportunities to meet with people individually and talk about promotion. The reason the number looks funny like that, 46 plus 6, is because the first 4 years, the medical school doesn't consider a move from clinical assistant professor to associate professor to be a promotion. It's a new appointment, and so we weren't getting those data, and I just want to show apples to apples. So if you just count those, it was 46 last year. But really, with the people that moved from clinical assistant professor to associate professor on the non-tenure track, we actually hit 52. So I'm going to stop fudging those things now and just say this year we hit 55, which was really pretty fantastic. And in addition, as Cliff mentioned, we had 8 people come in at a higher rank than they had been at their prior institution, which is also a promotion and deserves to be celebrated. So in celebration of all these promotions, I would like to start calling people up. If Dr. Simon could come up, Dr. Magarian, Dr. Gerson, and the first group, we're going to start actually calling everybody up individually. Yeah, right, thank you, right. Okay. So yeah, if the first row of people can please come up. We'll be calling you up a row at a time, so just hang out till you get called. Okay, Dr. Amanda Amin, Associate Professor of Surgery. Dr. Ivan Kakulev, Associate Professor of Medicine. Dr. Sarah Durajul Fargo, Associate Professor of Pediatrics. I don't think that she's here. Dr. Nicole Fowler, Associate Professor of Otolaryngology. Dr. Erin Frank, Associate Professor of Pediatrics. Dr. Lauren Henke, Associate Professor, Dr. Stephen Gunsler, Associate Professor of Neurology. I don't think he was able to come. Dr. Lauren Henke, Associate Professor of Radiation Oncology. Dr. Tiffany Hodges, Associate Professor of Neurological Surgery. Dr. Andrew Hunt, Associate Professor of Psychiatry. Dr. Michael Carnes, Associate Professor of Orthopedic Surgery. Dr. Grace Kim, Associate Professor of Pediatrics. I don't think she was able to come. Dr. Andre Masiu, Associate Professor of Medicine. Dr. Ryan Marino, Associate Professor, Emergency Medicine. Dr. Holly Marshall, Associate Professor of Radiology. Dr. Maroon Mata, Associate Professor of Medicine. I don't think he was able to come. Dr. Colin McCloskey, Associate Professor, Emergency Medicine, also I think not able to come. And in a third one, Dr. Leland Metheny, Associate Professor of Medicine. Dr. Megan Miller, Associate Professor of Surgery. And now a person who is actually here, Dr. Amir Mohammed, Associate Professor of Medicine. Dr. Matthew Mormon, Associate Professor of Surgery. Dr. Jonathan Moses, Associate Professor of Pediatrics. Dr. Douglas Naylor, Associate Professor of Surgery. No? Dr. Jamie Noguez, Associate Professor of Pathology. Dr. Lee Akuin, Associate Professor of Surgery. Dr. Mohammed Osman, Associate Professor of Medicine. Dr. Ama Awusu Ansah, Associate Professor of Pediatrics. Dr. Sarah Plummer, Associate Professor of Pediatrics. Dr. Rachel Pope, Associate Professor, Urology. It was hard for me to say urology. She's an OBGYN.
You can say both.
Yeah, she is both. Okay. Dr. Joseph Paluchny, Associate Professor of Surgery. I don't think he was able to come. Dr. Thomas Rafe, Associate Professor of Pediatrics. Dr. Sanjita Ravishankar, Associate Professor of Pathology. Dr. Holly Reeves, Associate Professor of Pathology. Dr. Erica Roche, Associate Professor of Pediatrics. Dr. Sarah Ronas, Associate Professor of Pediatrics. Dr. Amy Rushing, Associate Professor of Surgery. Dr. Ellie Sadeh, Associate Professor of Medicine. If people need an extra picture, it's fine. Dr. Rami Sabeh, Associate Professor of Pediatrics. Dr. Seth Sclair, Associate Professor of Medicine. Dr. Alessandro Serra, Associate Professor of Neurology. Dr. Gabriel Smith, Associate Professor of Neurological Surgery. Dr. Nathan Stahauer, Associate Professor of Medicine and Pediatrics. Dr. Akina Tamaki, Associate Professor of Otolaryngology. I thought I saw you. I'm so glad you made it. Dr. Patricia Taylor, Associate Professor, Ophthalmology. Dr. Nicholas Zorsky, Associate Professor, Radiation Oncology. I think he's not coming. We now have a special person accepting the honor for her mother. So for Dr. Janine Aruda, professor of pediatrics, is her daughter, medical student Sophia Aruda. Dr. Guilherme Atasani, professor of medicine.
All the cardiologists get 2 pictures.
Dr. Christopher Bailey, professor of neurology. Dr. Martin Box, professor of pediatrics. Dr. Rebecca Flick, professor, reproductive biology. I don't think she made it. Dr. Robert Gillespie, professor in orthopedics. Dr. Hannah Gilmore, professor in pathology. Congratulations. Dr. Michael Gottsbecker, professor of orthopedics. Dr. Alan Hoffer, professor, neurological surgery. Dr. David Jordan, professor of radiology. Dr. Ganur Karakurt, professor of psychiatry. Dr. Sarah Mowry, professor, otolaryngology. Dr. Ross Myers, professor of pediatrics. Dr. Amru Siraj, professor of neurology. Dr. Asef Sheikh, professor of neurology. Another person who can't be here, Dr. Mary Solomon, professor of pediatrics. Dr. Sophia Sundarajan, professor of neurology. Not here. Dr. David Wald, professor of pathology. And Dr. Jamie Wood, professor in pediatrics. And pediatrics definitely gets the Team Spirit Award today. I'd like to introduce now Dr. Dan Simon, who's going to provide us with some closing remarks, and also a reminder that all of the honorees, please stay in your seats for a picture.
Well, Marjorie, thank you very much for your amazing work. I think we should give another round of applause for this career development. Promotion is a very big deal. And I think nothing makes me happier and more inspired than to look out and see this amazing group. So congratulations again to all of you. I think it's great that the family's here and that we put into perspective, exactly what this means. It is very, very difficult to be promoted. If you think about the fact that the acceptance rate for a paper that we use as a criteria for promotion hovers in the 10 to 15% range, and that funding a grant is as low as 5 and perhaps as high as 15%. The odds are stacked against all of us, but your resilience, your perseverance, your agility, and your nimbleness, your dedication and your commitment have allowed you to succeed, and we are so very proud of you for that, and we'd like to congratulate you again. I would really like to thank all of your mentors. Some are here and some are not. Your vice chairs in your departments who are dedicated to career advancement and promotion, and to your division chiefs and to your chairs. It takes a village to go through this process. I think the most important thanks, though, does go to Dean Stan Gerson and to Cynthia Kuwu, who's here today, because the work at the school to get this done is very difficult. Each one of these candidates is presented to peers across the nation, and letters are gathered to verify that they meet the criteria of promotion, not only at this institution, but at the institutions where they reside. And that is a very big deal. It is your own personal track record, but as Cliff has pointed out, it is the testimony of experts in your field from around the country that you are worthy of promotion through the impact you are having on teaching, discovering, and of course, healing. With that, I stand in the way of a great celebration out in the lobby. I want to congratulate all of you again and ask all of the promoted faculty to remain for a picture. Thank you.